me running around crazy trying to cook all this food and pissed off at the world.
That also is the woman's role. Why the men are happier marriages? They do all this traditional cooking, preparing.
Yeah, I'm over that shit. I ain't doing it.
Petty. They're very petty creatures.
That is true.
I'm just saying that because that's how I am. So.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you have been petty. My husband doesn't help me. He doesn't want to do anything and different stuff like that. And I'm like, who really does benefit from marriage? Like, I don't see as someone who's in a marriage and experiencing marriage, I don't see the benefits of marriage for me.
Hey guys, if it's crazy, all
right, go now.
Wait.
Get out of there! Oh my God!
Hey guys, welcome to the Family Mess. I'm Noah, and have a nice day.
Good God!
I love the Family Mess. Oh
my God!
Welcome to the Family Mess Podcast. I'm your host, Ian, and this is my wife and co-host, Natalie. The Family Mess, the podcast about life with kids and all things adulting. Let's talk.
Could you sound any more drearier? I know you're mad at me, but like you could at least turn it on for like 2 seconds and sound a little happier.
Natalie's driving me crazy. This stupid headphone thing is just driving me. We're just going to listen to one. Natalie's driving me crazy because...
You can edit that out.
No. Natalie's driving me crazy because she told me that we've been trying to record for like a month, and then she's like, all right, Ian, go ahead and do the intro. So I do the entire intro, and I'm sitting there waiting for her. She's looking at her phone, and I'm like, are you going to say something? And then she gets mad at me, and she's like, Ian, you didn't even do the intro yet. After I did the whole entire intro.
Okay, I'm sorry. I hyper-focus when I read, so I don't hear all the time.
But we've been gone for a month. But I'm excited to report that the World Cup is on TV. I'm very excited to watch it. Once every 4 years, man. Best event ever in the world.
Yeah.
I love it.
I don't.
They should shut down countries to allow you to watch the World Cup. Just shut it down for a good 3 or 4 weeks. And I know there's not a lot of soccer fans out there, but it's the greatest event in the world, man.
I am not as dedicated to you to any sport. Yeah. I don't care. If I see the game, great. If I don't, life goes on. Because you know what? They've made their money. I don't have theirs. So I'm out to go get my money.
And Natalie said yesterday she doesn't appreciate how these grown men are crying when they lose games.
I will always say that. I hate to see men cry in sporting events.
Why?
Like for when they lose.
Women cry too. You don't say nothing about that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. A lot of guys don't cry, when their wife or has a baby or they get married.
How do you know they don't cry?
I'm not saying there aren't men that do. A lot don't cry, but they quick to go holler and cry at a sporting event. You lost a game, dude. A game.
Yes, but that means
it's a game.
You know what that means? You've never lost anything big before.
There's so much things in life bigger than a game.
You weren't athletic enough to make it big to the finals.
My team, when I did play sports, we were 16-0, so I ain't have to worry about
going
losing.
back 30 years.
That's when I played sports.
Yeah, but if you would have lost.
And I've lost other times.
You didn't make it to the state championship.
Well, I only did JV. I didn't do varsity.
Oh, see, now you're talking crap.
But I'm still not going to cry. Dude, my point is, it's different.
Okay, if you made it to the state finals,
it's different if a lot of men cried in general with life.
Whatever.
But they don't. They suppress their emotions. It's a major topic of men not having emotional
then they let it out
ability.
In the court or whatever
but you playing a stupid game and you going to cry because you lost. Come on now. But then something like if your kid born or you get married, they ain't hardly crying. Now some men do. This is not talking about all men. I'm just saying a lot of men don't cry for stuff because they don't see it as manly.
Yeah.
But but all of a sudden, because a man lost a sport, it's okay to cry. Man. That's a bunch of BS. I'm sorry. Oh. So I hate to see men. I hate to see men cry. I remember seeing Kobe Bryant cry. Oh. And I was just like, this dude right here, what you crying about? You lost the damn game.
Leave him alone.
LeBron James.
You have no heart,
I mostly watch basketball. And then I saw little Ronaldo yesterday, all tears and his head down. Man, look, no time.
I got nothing for you.
Yeah, because it's stupid. That's why you have nothing to say about it, because it's dumb for men to be crying over sports and you can't cry in other real life matters, things that actually matter to your life and people who are involved in it.
I don't agree with you.
But they crying about a game.
Men cry all the time about other stuff. Just because you don't think they cry, they cry.
I just said I didn't say men don't cry. A lot of men don't cry, or in society, a man crying is not, now things are kind of changing.
In a lot of societies, a men crying seems like weakness.
That's my point. But it's okay when it's a sport. That's my point.
So that's the only time in a lot of these societies
you don't see men
can cry is in a sporting match.
Yeah,
Other than that, they can't cry.
Well, not that they can't, but they don't. They choose not to.
It's so sad because men are very emotional with everything they do.
Yeah, but that's y'all choose to stifle some of that publicly or out in front of any others who, in your circle or whatever.
Well, let's get back to the topic from our last. First, let's go through the 5 minutes a pound. Let's just stop that. Let's just stop this segment.
No, because I'm still exercising. Let's just stop this now. The pounds ain't going nowhere.
Let's just stop this. It's not working at all.
We're going to keep doing this. It's not
close to working. You've been doing this for
I'm not a quitter.
7 months.
I'm not a quitter. It's been years. But
God,
I'm not a quitter.
How long have you been doing this segment, man?
I'm not a quitter.
It's not about being a quitter. It's about what's happening to you. What's going on here?
Well, I'm telling it's the 5 minutes a pound. Talking about my story of me and my food and weight.
Men and women out there, are you also struggling with 5 minutes a pound? Your 5 minutes a pounds personally?
Hey, if they want me to get rid of the segment, I'll get rid of it. But no one said anything.
They're going to want you to keep this segment. I already know that.
Well, if anyone out there doesn't want me to talk about my horrible weight loss,
I already know
my lack of weight loss journey,
I already know they're going to want you to keep talking about it.
But I have been running again. I started. I was taking care of my mom for a little while and kind of got off the wagon. So
you're still taking care of your mom though.
Well, I know, but I've been able to have more time to do my own thing. Like right now, I'm supposed to be there already, but I haven't. But anyway,
you barely have time to do anything.
Anyway, well, it's my life. Busy. It's just my life right now. So I just have accepted where it's at, and I'm working on doing the things it takes to fix it or to change it. So in the meantime, I have started back my running, and I've been able, because remember we talked about the other day about your brain lying to you. So I have been able to fight my brain a lot more when I'm running and not stop as much. And I've been able to run like a whole mile without stopping. Now the second mile, that's a whole nother story, but at least I'm up to 1 mile with no stopping. But my brain, it keeps telling me to stop, just stop. But I'm like, no, you're lying to me. And I just tell myself that I got to keep going. So I have made some progress. The scale, well, that doesn't say the same progress, but
our dog has lost weight.
Yes, Ian's best client ever. His dog. We got a dog. She's like a terrier mix. She's like a mutt.
Yeah.
And she was like 27 pounds, and now she's down like 25.
She was 28 hard pounds when we first got her.
Ian is so dedicated because we had another dog who he's never. Our dogs typically aren't overweight because we feed them right or whatever and walk them. But we have our poodle. Ian never walks the poodle ever. He never walked the poodle unless I asked you to walk with me. Now we got this dog. As soon as we got the dog, and the dog was overweight, Ian and his vanity sets in, and he has to now walk the dog. And so now, which is good, every day, him and those 2 dogs, they walk a few miles. And now she's lost some weight. So it wasn't, she was having some arthritis and different things. So the vet said she needed to get some weight off. So Ian's done a good job. Too bad he can't, he don't like fat women in his life, but he's still got to keep one, which is me for now.
No, that's not.
And he's been able to get the dog. So the dog is looking a lot better.
It's not that I don't like fat women. It's the health issue that's part of it. If I don't see you do anything, it's a problem. The dog wasn't doing nothing, so I had to take the dog. The dog can't help herself. She's a dog.
Yeah.
So I had to help her. She can't help herself. Dogs just respond to what they're fed. So if you feed the dog right and exercise them, they'll for the most part they'll get healthy. But you can't do that with humans because humans don't care.
Well, yes. Ian doesn't like overweight. I shouldn't say fat. I should say overweight women.
That is not true. I do like overweight women.
He accepts me for now, but the dog, he had to whip her into shape.
For now, what the heck?
He had to whip the dog into shape, and he's walking her every day.
It's not vain, dude.
It's not a bad thing. Ian, why are you getting so defensive? It's not a bad thing.
I'm vain about myself, but I'm fine with you. You make it seem like I'm this person that.
I didn't say you said these things. I'm just saying it.
But you insinuated it. I'm this person that. I don't like fat women or bigger women. That's not true.
Oh, well,
that's you saying
that. That's my own insecurities.
Yeah, that's you. I have never said that ever.
No, you have not. No,
yeah.
I won't put you out.
Get it right.
You have not said that. So, but yeah. So like I said, I'm running. I'm still trying. My nephew came the other day and he ran with me and gave me some pointers. She's like, don't worry about your time because I have a goal of getting the 5K in 30 minutes or less. But it's I'm going at a very slow pace to reach my goal, and I have to accept that because that's just where I'm at. But I am doing the running, and just the weight's not coming off. But I'm working on that too.
Well, Just a little one step at a time. That's
Yes.
all.
So, but I mean, now that I'm running, my brain is much more clear. I'm able to get more work done. Like this, actually, my running and taking my supplements has helped me better than I was taking them damn pills that did the damn thing.
What pills?
When I was taking the Wellbutrin stuff, the bupropion or whatever.
I don't remember that.
And I was taking the pills from the doctor, the antidepressants, because I was down and depressed.
Yeah. So this is making you feel better doing it this way.
Yeah, because them antidepressants, all it did was make my libido go down, and it just. I was like, this is not helping me.
I told you, man. Exercise. If you can get a little bit of exercise a day, that makes you feel really good.
Yeah. So now that I've got off the pills and I've just been running, and mainly just the running, I feel a lot better.
I told you, man. That's why I go to the
and
gym.
I take my magnesium, which helps.
Exercise and working out makes you feel good. It's like a natural antidepressant.
Yes. So in my supplements, I take my magnesium because that helps with your mood and stuff.
Maybe I should take some magnesium.
But don't just take any magnesium. There's a thing about magnesium people don't know, right?
Dr. Nathalie.
I'm not a doctor at all, but I do educate myself
podcast.
on health matters, health topics. So because I had a friend the other day, she said, "Oh, my son's on magnesium," and I was like, "Oh, red flag. What magnesium is he taking?" And she said it was like magnesium carbonate. I'm not gonna. It was a brand particular that people buy a lot, and that magnesium is not the magnesium that helps with anxiety, with your mood. There's different types. So there's there's like 6 types of magnesium.
They just bought it thinking it was just magnesium, but it's not the same.
Right. It's like, I think it's magnesium citrate, I think it is. That magnesium is more so like a laxative than it is like
don't take too much of that one.
Yeah, it doesn't have the benefits as much as the other types. So I take magnesium glycinate or threonate, which threonate crosses the blood-brain barrier and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, so that's all I have with my 5 minutes of pounds. But, like I said, I'm doing better mentally. Weight wise, it may not show up on the scale, but overall I am in a much better place health wise.
I think you'll get there
than I was before. And that goes back to our topic for today.
What's the topic again?
Who benefits more from marriage, men or women?
Oh, definitely men.
Because they say women's, for men, like it's been talked about a lot, like, there's studies and stuff, and everyone pretty much says men benefit more. And the weird part was I was like looking up some articles about it, and I could barely find any that talked about the benefits for women. And when they did, they were like the stupidest benefits. I was like, what?
Like what? What was the stupid? Like
I forgot what they were. Hold on.
But I can see men benefiting it more because if most men that are married end up being healthier. I don't know how this works when the women are talking to them to death all the time, but they end up being healthier.
Whatever.
They end up being healthier overall in the marriage, and it's an emotional thing. So they end up living a little bit longer being in a marriage than men that are not. I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me, but I don't know. I guess.
Why? Because with women tend to take care of like the men.
Yeah.
So men, basically, it said men are happier, healthier, and they earn more money, and they live longer by being married.
Yeah, I think there'd be something to that.
But the crazy part is, a lot of men they push off being married, even though they have the most to gain.
I wonder why,
from being married.
I wonder if you're not married, why you don't tend to live longer if you're not married. I wonder why that is. Like if you're a single person or you're not in a marriage, what are the factors that lead to this reduction in your life compared to a man? I would have to go read that myself, because I'm thinking if I was a single guy, I'd be living at 105, 110 years. No stress, man. No stress of being married. Get to do what you want to do.
But maybe that companionship piece is a part of it. That
I guess you can. Yeah,
there's different levels of like your emotional health. Yeah. And maybe I don't know. Maybe that's the one thing I didn't read into as much.
That's a good.
But mostly I didn't
think about that. I didn't think about that. Yeah, I think your emotional health as you get older and older, you probably do need some companionship over the long term. That probably does help with your life expectancy. I didn't think about that. That's a good point.
So like they say, like for women, I thought I marked that article, but I did not. Here it is. Yes, I did. The top 5 benefits of marriage for women. This is some website. I'm going to put the name of the website. Oh gosh, what's the name of this website? Wedge. Come on. I can't find the name of it. I can't see the name of it on my. Darn it. I'll find it. It's by Wedgate. I'm not sure the article, but it's by Woodgate. So it says here the top 5 benefits for women is health, your emotions. You need someone to support you and understand you throughout, and that gives a woman she can talk to and depend on. And then becoming a mother, I guess because she could become a mother, that's the benefit to being married. Financial security. And that's why I did not like this list. And then number 5, this is like the stupidest. I'm like, what? Who does this? Her own home. What the hell has that got to do with being like?
Own home. What's up with that?
Yeah. See, it says the homemaker of the house is always the mother of a woman. Every decision made has to be in accordance with her. It is only after marriage that a woman gets her own home and gets to make her own decisions.
Damn, that's
she gets to be the lady of the house.
What kind of? Oh, that's like a 50s, 60s.
I know. It's called Woodgate Matrimony. That's the website. I was reading this. I said, what kind of BS is this?
I don't know about that. That sounds a little.
So because I mean, I run when I was single. I ran my own place. Like I made my own decisions. So I don't know. I don't see these topics. I mean, I can see financial security because now you have 2 incomes. And that's better. It's just like for men, financial is one of theirs as well.
Really? Huh.
Yes. So
interesting.
I don't know. But they do say that women only benefit more if the marriage is happier. Like, so if the marriage if it's a mediocre marriage, then women don't really benefit, like emotionally.
Yeah.
But if it's like a marriage where people are like, you're happy with your spouse, then women tend to do benefit more, and they're healthier.
I could see
they're
that.
healthier.
Yeah. I could see if a marriage is struggling. It always seems to be the women struggle a lot in those.
Yeah, because she's stressed out, so she's not as healthy. But if you're in a happy marriage, women tend to be healthier, but not if they're in a thing marriage. And this is part of kind of why I was like want to talk about this a little bit, because I've been seeing like in some of my Facebook groups, some of the women are like, my husband doesn't help me. He doesn't want to do anything and different stuff like that. And I'm like, who really does benefit from marriage? Like, I don't see as someone who's in a marriage and experiencing marriage, I don't see the benefits of marriage for me. I mean, now things are a little bit better, but as we operated on a more traditional space with I doing most of everything, all the house stuff, and then you just doing, you kind of fill in here and there. To me, that's not beneficial. Like, that was not beneficial to me. And I didn't see why being married was this great thing. And I've always been a little off from marriage anyway. When I was a teenager, I didn't like dream about being married. I dreamed about like doing my own thing.
You can still do your own thing if you want.
Thank you.
I'm just letting you know.
Well, me and my friend, like in like 5th grade, we said we weren't going to get married till we were in like our 30s.
You don't have to wait for marriage. You can do your own thing you want right now.
I mean, I'm fine in my marriage. I'm happy and I'm content. But I'm just saying, like, before things change and we have evolved in our marriage, I didn't see where marriage served me. I really didn't.
I would have to agree with you. I think it's.
Because I was like, I'm doing everything. This ain't helping me.
I think it's a little bit overplayed.
What's overplayed? Marriage?
Yeah. I mean, I should agree. No. If I were to do it all over again, I'd think very long and hard about what it really means to get into a marriage. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I don't know. I don't think I would. Yeah. No, not marriage in its traditional form. I would not be happy in a marriage in its traditional form, like where the woman takes care of everything, especially if I had to work. Maybe if I stayed home, I may be a little bit more inclined, but and it's traditional, because that's part of what they're saying is, and women tend to initiate divorce, right, more than men in a marriage. I could see that also. And that's only in a male-female marriage.
Yes.
That women are like, it's like 66% initiate the divorce. Now, if you're in just like a relationship, or if you just break up, there's not such a large percentage of women who initiate the breakup. But when you're married in a male-female relationship, it's, they did whatever state. It said that's who tends to get, who women initiate the divorce more than the men.
I could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that happening.
Right. And yes. So it's just, I don't know.
Because men are like, I'm in this, even though I'm struggling, I'm staying, because men are really soft, most men in general. And they're very
soft. How?
They're very emotional. Men are very emotional, and they don't know how to express themselves. So that's the problem with a lot of men these days. They just don't know how to really express themselves in any relationship. That's why they do stupid stuff like cheat or do others. The men are very, very emotional, extremely emotional.
But then they can't communicate. That's the problem.
And
though.
they're very petty. They're very petty creatures.
That is true.
I'm just saying that because that's how I am. So.
Yes.
What?
Yes, you have been petty. You have been petty. So, like, one of the things they said was, like, so some men don't want to get married. So you would think because, they have so many benefits to a man getting married. Why would a man not want to get married?
Why would a man not want to get married?
Yeah, like that's...
because if the benefits are good, you should want to get married.
Right, but they're saying men... It's always typically, not always, but it's typically the woman who wants to get married and the man who's kind of, let's wait and see, or I'm not sure yet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Man, I would tell a lot of young men now, just hold off and just wait. Just
wait for what?
To get married.
But what are you waiting for?
Just wait. Just wait things out and see what happens. If you want to marry this person after a certain amount of time, then marry them.
No. Well, one of the things they said is like, this is a thing from the Institute of Family Studies, right? Like I was trying to understand like some of these dynamics, like some things that I hadn't thought about.
It's very interesting though.
So they say men resist getting married because they think they're going to have a major change in their behavior.
Yeah.
And they risk of financial loss.
Now, what is the financial loss? The person coming in there is going to take their money? Is
well,
that the
like
loss?
if you have kids, you're going to have to spend money on those kids. You're not going to have your own money to buy what you want and do your things that you want to do.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah.
So that's why they say, well, I can just shack up and I'll still get the benefits without having to.
So they're looking at it as, hey, I don't have to spend all this money if I'm not married.
Right.
If we're together, I'll have my money and keep my money. Once I get married, that's it.
Right, because now they see like when you actually get married, the view of themselves change to a provider, father, and a protector. So they don't want to have to become that person as much. This is just what they say in the thing. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know.
But it might be true though. I mean, this is based on the numbers and statistics, so it's not like they're just making up this stuff. These are probably based on real interviews and numbers.
Well,
These
just
aren't fake.
from my everyday things, men definitely benefit more from marriage because, we still, even though things are evolving, we still live, and a lot of men still want traditional marriages.
Yeah, I think so, and I think you're right. I think you're right with that. Yeah, I think that's a true statement.
Right. So with them wanting these traditional, marriages, like I don't know, women don't want that stuff.
Well, I think that's why a lot of millennials aren't getting married anymore.
Oh, millennials aren't getting married? See, I didn't know about that.
Oh, you didn't hear this is a worldwide statistics. A lot of millennials now in different parts of the country aren't getting married. And they're not having kids. No, you think this is...
That's because we're super selfish.
I know, but not having kids affects the entire world. If you don't have kids, who's going to be left to run things? This is a serious problem in Japan. It's so serious in Japan, the population is decreasing every single year. It's going down and down. So as more of the elderly die, there's not babies being born. The government is so desperate, they're giving couples incentives to have kids. Free homes...
Well, yeah, because once you have children, I mean, it's hard to have the same quality of life because of the way the system's set up. Yeah. We don't have the village anymore.
Correct.
Right? So before, women could, even though you did a lot more, you could manage because you had the village. Yep. You had your mom, you had, your whole family, you lived near each other and you had those people to help you. Now it's just like you and your kids.
Yeah.
And so now you got to do all this stuff and have a job because because you can't afford half of nothing without both of you working. The system's like set up for that.
Yeah.
Why would you want to go and have kids and have to, be struggling? You can't like I have a friend, she's married but they don't have children. She don't want kids because she's like, I'm too selfish. I don't want to take care of anybody else.
But at least she's honest. You know what I mean? That's her honest way of feeling about kids.
Right. And I see that because I'm like, man, she gets to sit and read books and she does this and she does that. And I'm like,
I don't think there's nothing wrong with not wanting to have kids. I don't think there's anything wrong with that at all. If you don't
but you just said it affects the population.
No,
it affects
it not
society.
Just does. It will affect the entire population over time.
It affects the society.
And we're not going to know now just talking about this, but 50, 60 years from now, I don't think I'm really alive, but it's going to affect the population and things in the world population because as society improves with technology and engineering, things get easier for even all these other countries in the world that have never had it before. Now they're moving up. They can afford cars now. So they're not going to want to have kids as time moves on. And you're going to see a shift in the population. The governments are really going to have to address it.
Well, we'll see what happens.
It's starting to happen here in the U.S. too. It's starting to happen here. They're not having kids. They purposely do not want to have kids. They're not going when they get married now.
So they get married, but so people are still getting married.
Yes, but there's no offspring as a result of it.
But they don't want to have children.
Nope, and they're purposely deciding not to have children. I think I read the article and it said a lot of them are afraid of this global warming. Like there's a lot of millennials that are scared of global warming, and they're very scared of all this stuff. And yes, it's happening, but I think they're putting a lot of this in their head also, and they're very anxiety.
Well, I can see you not wanting to break because this world is a horror. It's just a cruel place. Like,
yeah,
I mean, there's good parts.
The world has always been cruel. I mean, that don't make no sense.
I know.
Since the beginning of the time, the world's been cruel.
I know. So then why you want
to
to bring them into this? Because it's already bad enough. You're dealing with it. Like,
yeah, but that's not how life works. I mean,
life is painful, man.
It is. I have to agree with you 100%. Life is very unpredictable and painful, and you can never really plan. I mean, you can plan to do things, but you just don't know what's coming.
No. I mean, we're totally off topic. But like I was telling my niece the other day, I told her, I'm like, she's had a good life. She's got 2 parents in the home. They have good income. So she had a good life. And I was like, and she's just graduated college. So now she's trying to figure out what the hell to do with her life.
Hope she's listening
and I told her, I was like, life is hard. I said, you find yourself fortunate that your childhood was pretty good.
Yeah.
But as you're on the wheel, right? You're on that hamster wheel of life now, right? Once you graduate college and you start to work and get
That's
real
it.
income, that wheel starts and it don't stop.
Yeah, man.
And it's a tough wheel to keep going.
Yeah.
And I was like, life is going to be super hard. Like there's going to be things that are going to happen and it's just going to be hard. And just know that. I said, just know at this point in your life, things aren't going to come easy anymore. And I hate to be like that, but it's just the facts. Like it just comes at you. Like it's like you're at the beach in the ocean, right? Some waves are small and you can jump over them. Other waves, you turn to the side because someone's talking to you. Next thing you know, you're knocked over.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
God,
and then
so
sometimes you're
annoying.
facing the wave and it hits you so hard and it knocks you over, right? So that's just life. And I didn't know life was so hard. And I never understood why people, I hate to be like this, why people took their lives. But as I've gotten older, I understand it more because it's just.
Sometimes it seems that there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, at a certain time in everybody's life, you're like, there's nothing else I can do to get through. That's what it seems like at times. It does.
Yeah, but you have to.
It's just tough, man.
And that's one of the things you have to hold on to. You have to hold on to.
It's tough.
The fact that tomorrow or the next minute is a new day. And just as it got bad that quick, it can get better just that quick. And you could have the best day of your life. I had to tell my son that the other day, just dealing with like people and suicide and things like that. And I was like, in one moment, because he said, oh, I should just kill me or something like that. Remember he said that? And I was like, if you ever have those, I was just trying to just kind of talk to him about, if you ever have those thoughts, just remember today could be your worst day, but tomorrow could be the best of your life. But if you take that moment and take your life, then you won't have that next moment, right? So I wanted him to talk with him more about that openly, about because people will have those feelings, and
but I think that's normal to have those at times. And that's you wouldn't be human if you didn't have feelings like that.
Yes, and marriage can definitely do that to you as well.
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. Anybody listening would have had those thoughts at some time in their life.
So that's why I don't see why it benefits women.
I don't know, man.
Tortured.
Oh, God.
Tortured. But I really, I mean,
help me, Jesus.
I know, I mean, as far as companionship, I see why, it can benefit marriage. But as for a woman, at least, I just don't see.
I think if you have kids and you can get past that phase and you can still remain and communicate and still try to work on the relationship and really do things together, I think you can grow together and learn how to live together in the marriage over time if you put work into it. But if you don't put work into it early on, you can't fix it after it's already been broken in the beginning. You see what I'm saying? Like,
yes.
You have to really put work into it in the beginning, even with kids, without kids. You got to put work in it, and it's going to benefit both of you. But that that kid part's hard, man. That kid part, and then other
Well,
stuff
that's
comes.
a lot why it's not of a benefit to women, because women end up especially when you have children,
they end up taking care of all the kids.
everything.
The kids,
all the kids,
all
their
the
needs,
activities. So it ends up putting a strain on the moms, and then the dads are like, "Well, I don't see anything wrong with that," but they're clueless at times because they're just working. You know what I'm saying? But they're not really in it, helping out. I mean, I'm just now involved in the last couple of years, taking the kids more now to events, and it's consuming. You get tired. You just emotionally spent.
Do you see now, like, why?
I mean, I see now that I'm doing it more myself, and you can't really argue. You're just like, hey, I just got to take the kids where they got to go. So if we choose to be involved in our kids' lives, we're choosing not to be involved with each other that much. So now you have to find a balance, because it's hard, man. Then you get all tired. Then you don't want to do nothing at night because you're so tired.
Oh, see,
shut your ass
this
up.
is what I mean. Honestly, for me, this is what I think a lot of women would wish men would understand, right? Because you don't help me. That's why I'm too tired to do other things.
I'm tired too.
I'm not saying for you. I'm just saying in general.
Yeah.
That's why women often they're tired.
Yeah,
like they've done so much.
And I've experienced this over the last several months.
And so,
especially working from home, working from home, you can see the kids more, but you have to also do more for them, pick them up. And so now Nathalie has me doing things because she doesn't have time because she's taking care of her mom and doing a lot of things and working her own business. So I have to fill in that void and pick the kids up, take them up, drive for the weekend, and then you don't realize how it's just. But you just do it. You don't argue. You're like, okay, I got it. And Nathalie goes, okay, do it, and I do it. But then at the end of the night, around 10 o'clock, you're like, oh, I'm so tired.
yes.
And then she gets mad at me because I ain't trying to do nothing because I'm tired. And then she's like, why are you tired? And I'm like, oh, that's what she's been talking about all these years.
See? And
you're exhausted.
Right, you are.
Like the only thing you want to think about is just putting your head down on that pillow and just go to bed. That's the only thing you want to think about is just going to sleep because you're just so emotionally you're tired. And then you at the same time you have to try to take care of yourself. It's hard.
Yeah.
And then you have to I have to force myself to go to the gym during the week now. Whereas before I used to just go. Now I have to get up and like if I wasn't so vain, I would be fat. The fact that I force myself to go into the gym means I want to take care of myself. Yes, well,
you'd be a lot unhealthy. You'd be a lot unhealthier.
Yeah, but I have to try. Like I realize now it's not because I'm so busy. It's hard to just find gym time. Before I had time. Now it's just okay. I got to get up and go to the gym, get my hour in. As long as I could do that 2-3 days a week, I'm fine. But it's hard. Now once the kids leave, it's a whole different story. But you know when they're here, you got to do what you got to do, and you got to hope you don't get a heart attack or something crazy happens when you're here.
That is true. So I don't know. I guess you know what? By getting mad and getting upset in our marriage and finally being like, hey, that's how I've helped myself be happier in my marriage and found benefit to marriage. Because before, like I said, I didn't see the benefit of it at all. And I didn't understand why people were like, oh, so gung-ho to get into marriage. Because I'm like, I'm not seeing this because he's out doing what he wants to do. I'm here with these kids all the time. So I don't see where this is benefiting me. That's just how I used to see it. I just didn't see it as any kind of benefit.
They're definitely not black and white by no means whatsoever. If you're a traditional person, that you've grown up in a traditional household and you've been taught marriages are seen based on your parents, that's not how marriages work. It isn't.
It is. That's how theirs
that's
work.
Their perspective. But in real life, it's about happiness of each other. How are you going to try to maintain as a couple some type of sanity and keep yourselves liking each other over the that's what it is. You're trying to like each other over the long term, stay connected over the long term, and that takes a lot of work because both of you are changing the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, like everything else, pretty much communication is the key.
Yeah,
and once you begin to communicate and also recognize that, I say this all the time. I know people are probably tired of hearing, but I say it because it's so true. You have to communicate with whoever you're with and also be able to self-reflect at what you have done in your relationship that did not benefit it to make things better.
Yeah.
Right? You don't have to be unhappy in your marriage. You don't have to be unhappy at your job, right? Whatever it is, you have the power to change it. Right. And that's why I got to that point where I'm like, oh, hell, I'm done with this. I need change.
Yeah.
So either you help me out or I'm out. Like, just because I couldn't deal with it anymore. So because I was tired of feeling like unhappy and I had no life. I had nothing for myself. so I had to make those changes to do it.
Yeah, that's understandable. Very understandable.
So yes, overall, yes, marriage benefits men more than women, but women do have things to gain from marriage.
Didn't talk about all the
as
stress
far as
and
like
hell.
emotional, financial support, that kind of thing. Women do have things to gain, but overwhelmingly,
that's a big but.
It's a big but.
Big but.
Overwhelmingly, men benefit more from marriage than women. Hopefully, over time, we can learn to evolve that, and we all are benefiting about the same.
Agreed. I'll have to agree with you there. No arguments here from the peanut gallery. I'm good. That was good. Anything else we should...
There ain't nothing else to talk about.
All right, well...
What's wrong with you today?
I'm tired,
You're
man.
kind of like down. Like you're just like zero energy.
It's Christmas, and it doesn't feel Christmassy. You know what I mean?
You didn't listen to your Christmas song with like the real sound on.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that brings in the Christmas.
I mean, I'm driving around our house and I'm like, I'll see all the lights up and I'm like, I don't feel Christmassy. It's hot as hell in Florida. First of all, it's hot. It's 80 degrees and I'm like, this doesn't feel. It hasn't been cold one day here so far, and I'm like, it doesn't even feel like the Christmas season. There's lights up, but it doesn't feel like Christmas. You know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it. You go around, you see cars. I'm like,
Maybe because we have no decorations in our house.
Maybe that's what it is. We ain't got nothing. No tree. That's what it is. No tree.
I ain't got
no
lights.
lights.
The tree's in the box right there. You go take it and put it together.
I'm not putting up no. I'm not putting up no damn tree.
Wow.
I'm going to be here, so I ain't putting up the tree. Nah, I might put it up just to see it. You know what it is? Maybe if I see it and it's decorated,
that's gonna
with the
take
lights
all
on
day
it.
to take it down.
It's so lazy. It's so much work. We didn't put no lights up on the house either. Nothing.
No, maybe that's part of why you didn't do your traditions.
Man, I think you're right. I think I'm gonna. I don't know. I'll figure
I ain't
it out.
gonna be involved. Just to know that.
See what I'm saying?
I ain't doing it.
Come on, you gotta help too.
I've gotten to a point where and we're supposed to be wrapping up the show,
I don't
but I've
even-
gotten to a
no.
point where I do whatever's the easiest for me.
Yeah.
If it ain't like we're having my cousin, I have some relatives coming over tonight. I'm going to make some mac and cheese, but that's it. Everything else I ordered. Why? I don't have time to be prepping and cooking and I don't got time for that.
They better eat all this food too.
But I want people to come.
Yeah.
So you know what? I'm going to pay the premium because it sure is expensive as hell to
God,
order food.
I heard that bill last night.
But I'd rather
my
pay the
God.
money for the food and have my sanity
Yeah.
than me running around crazy trying to cook all this food and pissed off at the world.
That also is the woman's role. Why the men are happier marriages? They do all this traditional cooking, preparing.
Yeah, I'm over that shit. I ain't doing it.
Natalie, that's the one thing I'd say is do you. Don't worry.
I am. That's why I stopped doing stuff.
Do you. Forget about us, the kids, everything. Just take vacations by yourself.
I do that too.
Do everything by yourself.
I do what I have to do for myself
All
now.
you couples out there, listen to us. Separate from each other. Not like really separate, but do things away from each other to find what you really like to do. If you like to play instruments, whatever hobbies you have, don't actually do it together all the time. Do it separate from each other. That way you can.
That's a whole nother show topic.
I know, but it's the woman's thing. Though. That's why men are happier is because sometimes they have hobbies when they're in a marriage. And
Yes, a lot of us women don't have hobbies.
That's
I'm
what
one
it
of them.
That's what I'm saying. That's
I'm
what
included in
like
that.
me. I like working on cars and putting them together. So that's my little hobby. So let me wrap up the show. Well, thank you all for listening. Again, you can join us on any of the streaming platforms: iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Spotify, Google, iTunes, all the streaming media that you have. Listen to the Family Mess podcast. We're also on Instagram, the Family Mess, the Facebook Family Mess page. What is it called again? I always forget.
The Family Mess podcast.
The Family Mess podcast
It's
Facebook page. Sorry we took a month off. It wasn't on purpose. We're going to try to get these out. Another one 2 weeks from now. So we'll keep it coming. Just continue to support us to make us global.
we got a lot of work on our side we got to do, but we're going to get there.
Love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Family mess. I know it. And have a nice day.
Good God.
I love the family mess. Oh my